I'll do it tomorrow, more often than not, turns into nothing. Whenever we tell ourselves that we will do something later, we tell ourselves that it isn't important enough right now and let ourselves forget. Or even worse, make excuses. So do it now. Live in the moment. Just go for it. Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed, but right now is. So allow yourself to have this moment. Allow yourself the right now. So I always used to tell myself that I've got time, that there's always tomorrow. Well, not just tomorrow actually, I've probably got like 20 years ahead of me to, get the things that I want done and get to where I want to get to. But until very recently, I've just realised how much nonsense that actually is. Because time is never guaranteed. Largely because, well, we never know what's going to happen, right? But the actual biggest reason is that we're not in control of time. We're not in control of what's going to happen. But the most control we have is in the now. And now, we can either make an excuse or make it happen. That is entirely up to us. Because I used to put things off all the time and I never take things seriously. And I understand you can't do everything in one day. Obviously, you gotta have a plan, you gotta do things in steps, and things need to, have some form of flow. But there's a very high chance you tell yourself that you're gonna do it tomorrow, or you're gonna do it next week, or you're gonna do it at the end of the month, or the start of the new month. You probably won't. So if you can, get it done today. And by no means am I saying to just dive into everything and do it all at once and rush into everything before your time runs out, whenever that may be. Absolutely not. But just because time can't be controlled and our lifespan cannot be controlled and the journey of what's going to happen cannot be controlled, it doesn't mean we can't do things right now in order to support that and help with that and hopefully maybe change course slightly along the way. Because like I said, I understand you cannot do everything straight away, but you can make a start. You can look into things, you can write things down. You can make a plan to start on it the following day or the day after. You can set yourself up to actually get it done. Because, we've got jobs, responsibilities, homes, cars, partners, all this, that and the other. There's all these different things you have to take care of and look at and look after. Obviously, you can't do everything right now. But the point isn't literal. The point isn't to do absolutely everything right now. The point is to stop putting things off. Because you never know when you're going to get a chance to do it again. Or at all, for that matter. Because whenever we tell ourselves we'll do it tomorrow or do it later or we'll start next month, we are kind of indirectly telling ourselves how unimportant the now is, when in reality it's actually probably one of the most important moments, and also one of the very few things in your life that you have absolute control over. And we have to think, the now we're in right now, this very second, could be the very last now we ever own. We don't know that. And not to sound all doom and gloom, and obviously, but, life's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen, and you can't predict the future. Obviously, you can do a lot of things to help yourself and protect yourself and go down a certain path that will, guarantee more safety than others, which is fine. But once again, you still don't know. You could be indirectly ruining your life yourself, or you just could be a very unfortunate bystander when something else happens. You never know. I always used to sit there and think, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'll just do it another time. I always told myself later, I don't have the balls now, there's no way I can do this now. But the sad reality is, well, in my perspective anyway, that later turned into never. A lot of things I wanted to do I never did. Never. And I regret those things. And I regret not doing, I regret not asking, I regret not saying, because I wish I did, because who knows where I might have ended up. Obviously, I am where I am, there's nothing I can do about it, and that's absolutely fine. But I would much rather regret doing something and it being terrible or just not working out than regretting by just sitting there wondering as to what could have happened. Because the not knowing is the real kicker here. Because I've done plenty of things that haven't worked out, and that's alright. Because there's nothing you can do about it, nothing I can do about it, apart from just taking on board, moving forward, and just learning and remembering it next time. One thing I definitely learned is that the longer you put something off, the less and less courage you're going to have in order to do that thing. You know, whether that's going to ask for promotion, messaging someone, or just going up to someone and telling them, you know, hey, do you want to go on a date? Starting something of your own, such as like a YouTube channel or a business. The longer you put those things off, the less likely you are actually going to do them. As brilliant as our brains can be, they also have this really irritating tendency to just make up excuses for us. And the second we allow that to happen, well, game over, man. Me personally, I'm pretty confident. I can go and do things, I can go say things, whatever, right? But if I don't, and I leave it, even a minute, even just a little bit of time, I probably won't do it anymore, because my brain will just be like, oh, what if this, what if that? The moment's over, bro. Just let it be. And that's it. It really does come to show, and it's something I really learned, the hard way actually, how important just doing things then and then really is. Another example that I can give you, and it's something that I could probably say once again from personal experiences, if you put off a problem, it gets bigger. And if you put off a dream, it gets smaller. And I believe it does go back to that whole thing of your brain making excuses and things just accumulating over time. Obviously, one way in a good way, one way in a bad way. But kind of just going back to my previous point of regret and, you know, putting problems off to the side only allows them to get bigger. I regret doing those things because that applies to a lot of things. You know, just kind of overlooking it and thinking, oh, it'll be alright. The reality probably is that it won't. But we like to tell ourselves that it will be because it makes ourselves feel better. But the harsh and honest truth is, it won't. So we need to do something about it, preferably now. And if you can't right now, well then as soon as possible. And another thing I would regret is the whole idea of just putting things off that I wanted to do. Because I know for a fact, if I didn't put off the things that I'm doing right now, all those years ago, I would be so much further ahead. And I regret that. Not to a point where, you know, it puts a downer on me and I can't go on living my life because I've not done something. But it's that kick in the teeth because I know I was capable. I know I could have done it, but I still told myself no. I let my brain come up with some sort of excuse, probably a dumb one at that, because those excuses are never great. They're just there to kind of deter ourselves from doing things, to save ourselves from being embarrassed, or save ourselves from being told no, or just save ourselves from failing. But that's the whole beauty of it, isn't it? So stop putting your dreams off because they'll only get smaller, and stop putting your problems off because they will only get bigger. I can tell you that from personal experience as well as things that I've seen myself from other people. So remember how important right now actually is.